Cancer, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-June 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's up for the Cancerians. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic. Getting very close to your birthday season, but let's shuffle this up here and see what's up, my God, Spirit Team. What do we have for Cancer in early to mid-June? What energies, messages, insights can we pull? And yeah, we're just going to look real quick at this first card, then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean in on, which is always interesting. So let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Cancer. Please and thank you. What's happening for my friends? What energies can we see here? Very quick. This showed up in the Taurus reading as well. Okay, and the intriguing thing to me is that this is a fairly rare card to come out, and I've been seeing that with a lot of signs. Their oracles have been ones that don't really show face too often. Very intellectual, extremely intelligent type of energy here. You might need to like feed your brain a little bit with some knowledge. I like this though. Before we fully dive into it though, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button, but tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk a little bit more about this card. Now, I always say this card reminds me a lot of the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth. And if we look at the imagery here, we see this monkey. It's kind of funny. It's dressed up as Shakespeare. It's holding a skull, contemplating its life. There's a typewriter. There's like all sorts of mathematics and binary code going on in the background. Extremely intellectual type of energy. Now, I know, because I have a couple big water placements myself, that us water signs, we're generally seen as very emotional and intuitive beings. You might be a little more logical about certain things in this time when this card is here. It's all about education. It's all about filling the brain. So a lot of you could be learning new things, absorbing a lot of knowledge. But the one thing I say about this card is that it's straightforward, to the point, not playing around. Like, it's seeing things clearly. So for a lot of Cancerians in this time, there might be certain things that you're seeing the truth of, or you're just looking at it in a logical sense. That's the big thing I see with this card. So we'll see how it all plays out. I will say for a lot of you, maybe you do need to just fill your brain, fill your mind with some things, but we're just going to put him down right there. He could keep contemplating that skull. Let's get into tarot now. Pardon me. And yeah, we're just going to get you 3 cards in the upright, then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. And yeah, I always say that first card doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. Let's shuffle it up here. See what we got for the Cancerians, please. While we do, let's talk about last week's reading, because it was a little intriguing, if you ask me. The reading was titled A Surprising Action. And just know that this energy could still bleed over for a couple of weeks. But the main name of the game, the main gist that I was seeing last week was that, one, it could be somebody acting in a way that they don't normally do, like someone making a surprising move, or even something picking up a lot of steam very quickly, like, okay, all right, I wasn't expecting that. So we're going to see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or someone that you're linked to. So let's get it going. 3 cards in the upright. What do we got for Cancer to start us off mid-June? Okay. All right, we got the 8 of Swords starting us off here, and that is also air energy. There's a lot connected to the mind here, my friends, and I feel like that's been a common thing for a lot of the zodiac this week. Everyone's brain is going, maybe because there's so much stuff happening in Gemini right now as far as transits go. Okay, so we have the Page of Wands in position number 2. That's card of communication, action, moving things forward. So there is a big importance around communicating here so far. And we have the devil himself chilling right there. Don't get too nervous about that. Like I always say, this devil card, yeah, it could be some hurdles and some things we want to look at, but it's not the be all end all. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. So at first look, first glance, we might have a little bit of a mixed bag happening here. A lot of Cancerians could really be about addressing issues and problems in this time, or anything that's just not working. Like a lot of Cancerians could be like, I got to figure this out, or I need to address this, or I need to work on this. There's a big emphasis I'm feeling around problem solving so far. But elementally, we have some air, we have some fire, We have some earth, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. Let's see how it all plays out, though. Let's build this out piece by piece. So position number one, and I will say this, these two energies are completely opposite, whereas this one is very fast moving, this one is super, super slow. But the Eight of Swords in position number one. And you see this person there blindfolded, surrounded by the swords. Some of you might have a little bit of cabin fever in this time. You might need to shake things up, get out of your regular routine. This card could feel like trapped or imprisoned in some sort of way, and I'm not trying to say the extremes of the card. To me, it's kind of like my hands are tied. So there might be certain situations where it's like, okay, well, I have to accept it for what it is. Another sense with this card, there's a big mental active energy connected to it, like we saw here in the very first card. Watch out for the overthinking, the anxiety, over planning, racing thoughts, anything like that could be connected with this card. Now, when it comes to the positives of the Eight of Swords, one, as quick as it comes in, it solves itself just as quickly. So this energy comes and goes, comes and goes. It's like really rapid, really quick, which is a positive thing, especially if it's a little uncomfortable or feeling bogged down. The Eight of Swords, there is a light at the end of the tunnel with this card, which is something I like. So if you are going through some tough situations or problems, this card is like, okay, it will be solved. Like you'll break out of this. There's also a little mystery too. The person is blindfolded and hoodwinked. So we'll want to look into that further to see what it could really be about. Moving to the center, we have this Page of Wands, very peculiar to me. Now, I always say all pages represent new paths, new journeys, new ventures. They're all students, they're all messengers. So that's kind of the main theme we had with this card. It's learning, it's about information, it's also about communication, sword of truth, air, communication. Now we have the Page of Wands, giving a message. This card could represent you having some sort of conversation of importance or something that needs to be addressed. Pages represent, similar to the Knights, the action of the suit, and this is fiery, it's passionate, it's driven. Make sure you're pacing yourself in this time. You don't want to get burnt out, whether it's emotionally or energetically or even physically, because this page could be prone to burning out a little bit. So that's very important for a lot of Cancerians in this time, to pace yourself energetically. And we saw a similar thing last week for every single water sign. Is like, energy might be a little slippery slope with a lot of water signs in recent weeks. The thing I like about this page is that there's room for growth, but I do feel like this could be something around a message or a talk that we'll want to look into further, especially with the fire air combination. And I do feel there is something that could be addressed and will be. On to the back end, we have the Devil. Now, for a portion of you, if you're connected to Capricorn, this could just be them. They get this card due to the goat symbolism. That's it. I mean, this is not speaking bad of Capricorns, okay? Now, the other meanings, aside from the zodiacal, the Devil is a very slow-moving type of energy, similar to the Hierophant. So when we see the Devil, we think of issues or problems that you may have been dealing with for quite a while, or something that's stuck. This is similar to like a thorn in the side. Now, when we get to the extremes of the Devil card, it could represent toxicity, could represent obsessive thoughts, it could represent jealousy and toxicity and addictions, and you name it. It could be a whole laundry list of different things. I just don't like to go full bore extreme meaning when it comes to this. It could just be something you've been dealing with for a while, or something that's a little stuck that we'll want to take a look at. So as you can see by the way the cards are flowing here, it's like, okay, we have the Eight of Swords in the beginning. That's not a comfortable energy. It's like, okay, not feeling comfortable here. I want to address this. So it's like addressing this Devil. So I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle here for the Cancerians. Let's see what's happening. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. It's going on that Eight of Swords. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cancer, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Eight of Swords time. What's going on here? What's this high-strung energy? What is this about? Thank you. Emperor in reverse. Okay, so for some Cancerians, yeah, there could be. All right, it's giving me two things here. One, for a portion of you, there might be an issue or a problem or a situation that's either out of your hands or you didn't really contribute to it. That's kind of the vibe. It's like, okay, well, I didn't do anything to bring this about. Like, why is that my problem? It's kind of giving me this type of energy. You might be dealing with somebody that's in that energy too, where it's like, all right, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do, like, this ain't my problem. It's like kind of giving me that energy, which is very peculiar. Now, the Emperor, Aries, right? It's an initiator. It's fire energy. So we're mixing the fire and the air, the explosive energy. And usually the Emperor represents control of a situation or control in general. So when I see it in reverse, when I see it underneath the Eight of Swords, it's like, all right, there's something going on here that, like, I don't have much say in what's happening, or I don't have much control in how this is going down. So I feel like it's either one or the other. Okay, you might be experiencing something where it's like there's not much you could do about it, or there's a problem happening and it's like, I didn't contribute to this. Why is this my problem? So let's keep moving forward. I don't want to get too hung up here. It is what it is. Let's see what that Page of Wands has to say. And we'll get over to that Devil, because I want to check that out for sure. So why is the Page of Wands here? What is happening with this page? Okay. Three of Wands. Okay. So how do I address this? That's kind of like what this is giving me. The Three of Wands, a card of manifesting, card of creating, and it's also a card of waiting. And a thing that I want to mention, there is a whole bunch of fire and air showing up here in the front. And I always say that could be volatile, that could be explosive. So this is giving me a couple things. One, this could be someone thinking, all right, well, how can I address this? How can I address this and figure this out and make this work? Trying to pick the right way to make it happen. Another thing I need to tell a lot of Cancerians, you might have to be the initiator. So whatever pops up this week, like whatever it is you might be dealing with, whether it's good, bad, or in the middle, you might have to be the initiator. Okay, because there could be someone where, like, if it's left in their hands, nothing's going to happen. If it's left in their hands, nothing's going to get resolved. Like, you're going to have to initiate. Or if there is a conversation of some sort, it's going to have to start with you. That's kind of how this is showing up with me. Now, with this Three of Wands, yeah, it is like holding and in waiting mode. I do feel like, yeah, with this Page of Wands and this Three of Wands, somebody doesn't want something to spin out of control. So if there is a conversation, I could see it starting hot and heavy, but like staying calm at the very least. You could make progress, but I really want to see what the Devil has to say about this whole thing, because I feel like this is the root of what might need to be addressed. So we're just going to keep pressing forward. Once again, I feel for a lot of you, you might have to initiate the conversation. You might have to initiate this talk. And I do feel like it is something that should be addressed. So this might be a serious talk or an important one. Let's keep moving over to the Devil here. And we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow card. So why is the Devil in the mix? Tell me about this. Where's the Devil here? Thank you. Okay, we have the King of Cups, aka Kyle of Cups himself without a beard, in the upright, chilling with a goblet. I mean, he's having a grand old time underneath this Devil energy. And yeah, that is water sign energy in a big way. So some of you might have dealings. You might be tied with another water sign or somebody with those placements. And the King of Cups, totally opposite to what we have going on with this Devil. I feel like for a lot of you, whatever things, like this could be a miscommunication or a misunderstanding I'm seeing here, where it's like, okay, this does not look good. Like on the outside, it's like, all right, the intentions don't look too good. The whole situation doesn't look too great. But I feel like deep down underneath it all, there is a lot of love and there's a lot of care. Like that's kind of how this is showing up to me. So let's talk about this King of Cups. It could just represent emotional control. There could be a feeling or an emotion you've been grappling with for a long time, and it's not going nowhere, right? Like, so whatever it might be, whether it's positive, negative, like when I see the Devil with the King of Cups in the upright, like this is attached, like at the hip type of energy. So whether this is a person or whether this is a feeling, I feel like this energy, it's not going nowhere. Like that's like the big vibe I'm picking up. Now, of course, everyone's situation is different. That could be a lot of different things, but whatever problems and situations that we could be picking up on here, on the outside, it looks worse than it is, or there's like a misunderstanding or a miscommunication. I'm not feeling someone being purposely malicious, if that makes sense, where it's like, it might look like the Devil, but in reality, it's like this King of Cups. So there's some wires crossed here. That's kind of how this feels. So I would just be a little cautious in the coming days and weeks, especially like interpersonally or dealing with other people, right? Because a lot of wires could get crossed. But let's go through and talk about this piece by piece. and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. So remember, this doesn't have to be all your energy. It could be someone else's. I mean, hopefully nobody's villainizing you on the back end. But let's go through this. Position number one, we have the Eight of Swords with the Emperor in reverse. Now, I do feel for some Cancerians, there might be situations or problems you're going through that your hands are kind of tied. You might feel like there's nothing much you could do about it. It's like, all right, well, how do I even work with this? But another portion of you, it's like, all right, well, that's not really my problem. Why is it affecting me? It's like giving me that vibe. So watch out for that. Try not to get dragged into other people's stuff. Moving to the center, we have the Page of Wands with the Three of Wands. And the vibe I was getting here, yeah, this is an important talk or a serious one. But it's like very considerate, like, okay, this could go off the rails. How do I approach this, or how can I approach this? So there is somebody considering how to solve something. But another thing I'm picking up here is, for a lot of you, you might have to be the initiator. So if you want to have a conversation or talk, you're probably going to have to initiate it. Moving to the back end, we have the Devil with the King of Cups in the upright. So your energy there, mixing with Capricorn, that is a yin yang of energy, right? Like they are your zodiacal opposite. So when I see these two, I did say, to me, it felt like some wires are crossed, or something might seem worse than it is. Or like someone, even though like there's not a positive result, their intentions weren't bad. I do feel like clear communication is needed for a lot of different things, but be cautious in the coming days, because I feel like there could be miscommunications and wires crossing. So please take a screenshot of that if you'd like. See what's in the shadows for you, Cancer. Let's get a good shuffle here and see what's happening for the Cancerians, the Gods and Spirit team. And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. Let's get you one here. What do we got for Cancer? Oh, and if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. So let's get it going here. Let's get this shadow card. What is in the shadows for Cancer? Thank you. Okay, Four of Swords. Four of Swords. Now, for a portion of you, like, there could be something surrounding sleep or sleep schedule and needing rest. Big theme that we saw for all water signs last week. The Four of Swords is very spiritual as well. If we're not talking about actual rest, it's like connection to spirit, meditation. For a lot of you, maybe your guides are wanting to connect with you in one way or another with this card here. But it's also a card of like taking a rest or taking a break. And with all the stuff I'm seeing here, like for a lot of you, you might need a vacation when this card shows up. Now, another thing I'm seeing here, remember I said like somebody waiting to do something. This Four of Swords is like, all right, Spirit could be telling you, don't wait too long on this. Like there could be something that you shouldn't wait too long, or you shouldn't delay too long when this Four of Swords is here. Like you should make some moves or take some action if there's a result you're wanting. That's like the big thing I'm picking up. But aside from that, I do feel for a lot of you, just watch the energy levels. Make sure you're not overdoing it. I feel like that's the big thing. Nothing too bad here. But yeah, Cancer, that's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, my digital calendar is open on mastermetaphysics.com, so go ahead and check that out. And if you got your name in for the May subscriber surprise, the winners will be announced after this weekend's readings. But for the June subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 copies of one of my favorite decks, the Gilded Tarot Royale. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments if you could snap your fingers and visit anywhere in the world right now. Where would it be? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.